Friendo, Steve here.
Mel Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. It's Wednesday, which means it's Hot Takes Day. And oh boy, we've got some hot ones. Larson, where are we starting today?
We're going to start with Zondo. What Zondo has to say. Hot take.
Hot take.
The women in AEW and WWE are way more compelling than the men. Like, it's not even close. The women are varied and unique characters with interweaving motivation, but basically every guy is tough guy that wants belt.
I thought these were supposed to be hot takes. This is ice cold, man. If the WWE, if they had the balls, if you will, then they would feature them in the main event role, because I feel like they're all peaking. They're all at their peak. All these withered old men wearing their Depends to the ring. And then they have the nerve to keep down young names like Javon Evans, LA Knight, etc., The Miz, etc., etc. It's offensive.
I don't think there's any argument that, especially in WWE, we get so many more stories in the women's division focused on interpersonal dynamics.
Yep.
We get more interesting characters, more well-defined characters, more compelling characters. Because, yeah, I mean, that's the one gripe I had about Triple H's NXT was too many of the characters were a badass dude who likes to fight. And that's kind of trickled over the main roster to a certain degree.
Well, it plays into his favorite archetype, Shane Douglas. You know,
yeah, I guess so. I would never really describe Shane Douglas as a badass dude. I really wouldn't.
It was pretty cool when he had that cast on. It looked like a badass dude.
Yeah, I mean, he had moments where he was cool.
Wait a second. That backwards cap of his didn't scream badass?
Not necessarily.
Beg to differ on that one. I see one of them dudes walking down the street. I'm like, I'm going to go to the other side of the street.
Even if it was me?
Yeah, are you kidding? You look double tough with a backwards cap.
Oh, you
should try it. You should start wearing it.
All right, I'll show up at that basketball court tomorrow with the Kangol hat backwards.
Please,
how about that?
Please do.
I used to have one of those. I don't know what it is.
You would smoke me. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I don't know why, because you have so many characters. We're gonna get to a hot take here about Cody and Punk, but there's so many characters. Like outside of Jey Uso,
yeah,
I can't really think, and even that they've kind of backed off of.
Yeah.
The more interesting aspects of what they were doing with Jay as it relates to Roman and going after the title. Ever since he lost his last match, he was like, all right, well, I guess I'm not going to be champion. So tag team it is for me again. And just kind of faded back into the background a little bit. There's just not enough compelling characters, I feel like. Like they'll have characters like Drew McIntyre, who had that turn where he went heel and he was really interesting for a while.
Yeah.
But that character hasn't evolved since that, really.
It's like they find what makes somebody successful, which is usually something interesting, and they have a hard time wanting to or risking the idea of evolving that, because look, what makes things interesting is an evolution, not the faction. What makes people interesting is their ability to change, adapt, improv, and learning from their past. It's not relatable to see somebody who continually does the same thing over and over again, and it stops becoming a character trait and it becomes a trap for these characters, and it becomes a trap for creative. Look at me with my, oh man.
Look at how clever you are.
So yeah, it's funny because Drew McIntyre even addressed this, and I mean, dude, you can claim that this is in character, but I don't think there's any way you really can. And it was like, the meme of you have somebody in the middle and it's like character suffering leads to whatever, more character suffering, and it's the same cycle over and over again. And there's no breaking it. Well, that's not creatively interesting. That is creatively inert.
It is.
And so you want an evolution, but I can this is why I say dude, it's like, okay, this is my thing about it though. This is why the old 1980s style that Triple H kind of adheres to of just like dudes who are going for belts probably is because it's really difficult. Imagine like trying to bring some Altman-esque ensemble writing 52 weeks a year across 2 shows. Like, I can understand why, oh, we find this thing that works. Let's ride with this, because you've got so many characters to deal with and so much time to fill. I can understand why that's a difficult ask. That being said, there does need to be more effort put into that so it's not so glaring.
Here's the thing, Steve. This isn't some e-fed that they're doing on YouTube. This is the #1 pro wrestling company in the entire world. I don't think it's out of bounds for us to ask, hey, give us more than the bare minimum. We had more interesting, compelling characters on We Book Raw, all right?
Yeah, and how long did that last? And did we do it every single week on a grind?
We did it quite often.
Look, I'm not saying, oh, this is, I agree with you. I think if you're making that kind of money, you should probably invest some of it into figuring, hey, maybe that's what the AI is going to be for. You gotta invest some of it in creative structure that would allow characters to evolve. Like we saw Roman Reigns very almost defiantly in advance of last year's War Games when he came back. I haven't changed a bit and I'm not going to change a bit. Well, that's actually kind of interesting stuff to mine that they didn't end up mining.
Not really.
And so, yeah, if you add interesting characters that continue, one of the reasons why, and it's a little bit apples and oranges, but the feud of Austin and McMahon was so loved. I mean, obviously there was the very relatable, authority figure, boss, working man, dynamic there. Mm-hmm. But also it was a feud that evolved. It was a feud that continued to change. And then it didn't. And, it sort of petered out.
Yeah.
But yeah, you need characters that evolve and they change. And I feel like we do get more of that with the women than the men. And you have to ask yourself, why? Why is that? Why is it that, the people that are writing the women are doing such a better job? And can we shift those people over to write the men, please?
Well, I wouldn't want them to necessarily shift over, because I don't want that situation where they decide, all right, we're going to give the men's division this type of attention, but then not also give it to the women's division. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. Just maybe like 3 months here, 3 months there. I don't know.
Steve,
I don't
they're
know.
They're making hundreds of millions of dollars. They got several billion
Clone
dollars.
those people. That's what you're saying. Clone those people.
They got several billion-dollar deals
to clone people.
No, to hire people who will actually come up with interesting ideas for people all across the roster.
Are you telling me that Michael Hayes is not coming up with these ideas?
Apparently, he's the match finish guy. That's his area of expertise.
Yeah, they got some cool match finishes, so at least
they do.
That.
So I guess when they have that, they give Michael P.S. Hayes a call. He doots.
Isn't he just sitting in that one same chair at the Gorilla all the time?
Yeah, at the end of the table, yeah.
With his gimmick pack with him.
Sitting like this. He always has that one arm on the table. I don't know. I don't notice these little details in these passing shots, but he always sits like this.
Yep.
That's
there
hat.
You go. There you go. And his hat. There's
Yep.
always a hat. Yeah.
Yep. Next hot take. What is this name?
Sleem 06.
There we go. Cody and Punk are not meeting the moment as babyface champions. Let's go back to a certain degree to our previous hot take in terms of character evolution. CM Punk's been back in WWE for 2 years.
Oh, here we go.
Nearly.
Here we go, everybody.
He's still happy to be there. That's still his character. I'm still happy to be in WWE.
Larson's beef with Phil Brooks.
Don't try to deflect. Don't try to deflect away from your obvious beef with Dolph Ziggler and try to say, oh, Larson actually dislikes CM Punk. I don't dislike CM Punk. He just hasn't been doing anything interesting. There's a marked difference there. Cody's been kind of stale. Yeah, they get great reactions, and I think it's largely due to the power of their personalities. But in terms of characters, they've been largely static for a long time. And, you have two of your top stars carrying their respective brands' top titles. They should be involved in some interesting stuff. And they're not. Not really.
It goes back to the ages-old deal. It's hard to book a babyface. That's one video essay that I would love to write up one day, because for some reason, and I'm not even going to say for some reason.
Well, I'd preface, or I'd add this caveat, because I think it's pretty easy to book a babyface on the chase.
No, champion. That's why I said champion. I said
Okay,
it's hard to book a babyface champion. Okay. Yeah. So if I didn't say that's what I intended. Booking a babyface champion. This does not surprise me, because in fiction, it's difficult to write ostensibly sequels. Like again, this goes back to, I get it. Like the fictional, the structure of writing pro wrestling, it sort of demands that you, to a degree, reinvent the very nature of fiction. Think about it. Every good, great story has whatever, a 3 to 5 act structure where, depending on what you're looking at here before the denouement, you've got the climactic moment where the hero, wins. He finishes a story, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, after that, what do? They, I guess, start a new story. That's boring. You just did the thing. And so that's why I feel like, in general, writing a babyface champion, a good guy who accomplished his goal, he chased the thing and he got the thing. Well, now what? That's why traditionally it's just more difficult to do that, because you always want the bad guy on top and the good guy chasing him, which is why, honestly, the late 90s and all that, the hot potatoing, if you will, of the WWF title really kind of worked, because they had a great lineup of bad guys and a really good lineup of good guys, a variety of good guys to chase those bad guys. And I feel like maybe, and I'll get your thoughts on this, the business aspect, meaning Cody as champion and now Punk as champion, means it's back when Hogan was champion, this guy was on the road and it's selling out every house show they had. And I wonder if the business aspect clashes in multiple ways, but specifically in this way, if that clashes with the creative aspect of things. Yeah, it'd be more interesting if Cody was chasing, be more interesting if Punk was chasing. Now that they have the title, it's good for business. And they don't want to let that go.
I understand that aspect of it. Yes, I'm sure that takes, that's a serious factor in determining who does or does not hold the title. At the same time, I'm not asking them to reinvent the wheel with a babyface champion, but I don't feel like, especially for Cody, but also for Punk, where really is the adversity at this point? That's what it takes. You got to put odds, serious odds, escalating odds in front of your babyface champion to keep them interesting. That's where the dimension comes from. That's where the struggle, the fight. He has to be presented, even as champion, as a bit of an underdog in certain aspects with the escalating odds, and they just don't do that. Am I really supposed to believe that Drew McIntyre, who has constantly sabotaged himself for the last 2 years, is a serious threat to take that title from Cody Rhodes? Absolutely not. No, I don't believe that, because we haven't seen any growth or evolution in Drew McIntyre's character to make me think he has a chance.
But here's the thing. In order for him to be considered a real threat, Larson, what does he have to do?
Win.
He's got to win. He's got to beat Cody for the title, in which case Cody's not the champion anymore. So that's the dichotomy here, is they're unwilling to.
Well, here's the thing.
You kind of do. I mean, I'm not saying you have to reinvent the wheel, but the only solution to what you're saying precludes the babyface champion from continuing. It does.
Not necessarily.
It does.
Because it's not just a matter of, I don't think Drew McIntyre has a chance of beating Cody simply in terms of what they've done with them in the self-contained story. It's everything they've done with Drew McIntyre over the last 2 years, basically.
But the crux of everything has been the failure to win the big one. Drew's kind of on his own chase, but he's a bad guy, so it's not considered a chase.
No.
And in order for him to overcome, like, dude, he has main evented he's had how many title shots? I saw a graphic on Twitter the other day. It's an obnoxious amount of title shots.
And he's come up short repeatedly.
Right. Because They insist on keeping the babyface champion. And for 4 months, we had John Cena as the bad guy champion simply for the business reason of giving him that other one so you can sell a bunch of shirts and you can try to make a memorable, you can try to salvage this final year of his. But even then, Cody's chase was lame to get back to John Cena in that title.
It was.
They should have had, I still maintain, they should have had Cena go babyface before dropping it to Drew, and then you got Cody chasing Drew, who then has, the accolade, if you will, of beating John Cena for that title, being the WWE champion, and then you have Cody chasing him, but they gave it right back to Cody.
Yeah. There's no chance Drew was ever going to beat John Cena.
And Drew is still being written, and the only thing that could get him out of that writing rut, he's got to win the title.
See, I think there's a middle ground that you could have Drew win a match of consequence as a prelude to him facing off against Cody. Now, let's say they had a King of the Ring tournament. Drew runs through the whole thing in dominant fashion, wins it, gets the crown. There's momentum there. Seemingly in the course of that tournament, he's overcome whatever issues has plagued him in the past, at least to a certain degree. Now, in the most high-profile situation, him contending for that title against Cody at SummerSlam, then you have a story. Drew seemingly over, the self-sabotaging nature of his last 2 years. Will the pressure of being in this title match be enough for him to crack, or is he going to overcome those issues still? There's an interesting story. Plus, he comes into it with a huge win, winning the tournament, and actual momentum. That's a lot more compelling than, all right, Cody, I'm just going to claymore your head through the table.
Yeah, but what you're doing there is like, okay, then what next for Drew? Because, and I'm not saying he's done that. You just described Gunther. What I'm saying is, but that's I get what you're saying, dude, but that's like, they spent that on Gunther. And yes, you can do a similar thing with Drew, but Drew beat Randy Orton, who's kind of a big deal. He has beat people. He beat Damian Priest in a Sin City Street fight, which kind of just buried Damian Priest's career.
Well, then also, Drew got humiliated in a cage match against Damian Priest.
Well, that's only because Jesse Ventura said it was stupid.
The nature of his loss was humiliating.
Yeah, look, I don't disagree. I don't disagree that maybe a couple tweaks here and there, but I just don't know if having all these title opportunities and losing them all, that is sort of like the load of it. That's the big thing. He could have dominated Damian Priest, won that cage match, wasn't humiliated. Damian Priest is bleeding everywhere. And he comes out of there and still he loses all these title matches because of the same thing. Yeah, I don't know. The bottom line is either Drew recognizes that what he does isn't working, but then if he does that, he's got to change up what he does, and that's got to work. At some point, my point is his story has to advance and reach some sort of conclusion.
No, I agree with that.
And that conclusion, dude, it's got to be the title.
Yeah, the ultimate end of that evolution, yeah, but along the way, he could almost seemingly get to the top of the mountain, come up short, and at that point, what does he do then? Does he fall back into the same old habits and blame everybody else? Or does he reflect, some self-reflection, and think, maybe I was the problem all along?
That's a babyface turn.
And that's fine. You can turn a babyface then.
Okay, but here's the thing. We're not addressing the central premise though. I'm advocating for evolution, change, organic turns. I'm for that. But now you've got a babyface who's got his own story, who's going to win the title.
What you do. He says, all right, I've realized I've been my own worst enemy all along. Now I've unlocked the more brutal side of Drew McIntyre. Take no prisoners.
But then he loses to Cody Larson. He still loses. He's kind of done that, and he still loses to Cody.
At the end of the day, he still blames everybody else.
Anyways, this is a fun conversation. But we do have a sponsor for the show, so let's go ahead and talk about them.
Let's do it. This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by Cash App. Steve,
Yeah. Yeah.
why do debit cards have to be so darn boring?
Boring.
Yeah.
Is a debit card. You mean like aesthetically speaking?
Well, I mean, that's part of it. It's part of it. Like, it'd be cool to have, I don't know, like that picture of Sting and RoboCop from when RoboCop was a WCW. You know what I'm talking about? Have that on my debit card. That'd be awesome and all. But here's really the thing. I use my card all the time. And I really wish it did something for me.
I mean, that's a good point. Let me offer this up. Cash App just released a new status program for the way people actually spend called Cash App Green. It unlocks new ways for you to pay, get rewarded, and easily grow or manage your money on your terms. Now, when you spend at least $500 a month with a Cash App card or Cash App Pay, you earn green status, which unlocks benefits like up to $200 of free overdraft coverage, higher borrower limits, and custom personalized cashback offers every Friday at places you love to shop.
Turn everyday spending into status with Cash App Green. Download Cash App today or visit cash.app/new to learn more about this and other great features launching now. For a limited time, new Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use code CASHAPP10 in their profile at sign-up and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms apply.
Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Cash App Green overdraft coverage, borrow, cashback offers, and promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. All right, let's go ahead and dive into this next one. That was a fun conversation. Metal Pulse says, I think the whole Cena tournament was a waste of time. Why even bother with this bullshit?
Well, I mean, I guess if it's...
I added the why even bother with this bullshit, but I think it's baked into his argument.
Yeah, I think so, too. That's kind of the subtext. You know, if the idea is that it's clear as day that Gunther's going to come out of this the victor, winning this tournament, facing Cena in his last match on December 13th, why bother with the formality of the tournament? We can just have Gunther step up to him and says, I retired Goldberg, now I'm going to retire you. To that extent, I understand. At the same time, I think there is, and it's going to vary because it's subjective, a measure of excitement from some in the wrestling fan base. Oh, who are these surprise entrants? Who's going to advance? Oh, we're going to get some interesting matchups here, maybe. Maybe we'll get some really, really good matches, especially as the tournament progresses. Tournaments are usually one of the most enjoyable aspects of wrestling. Because you can do some interesting things with tournaments when done right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily call this a waste of time per se, personally. Has it been consistently the most intriguing, compelling stuff? Maybe not necessarily, but tournaments kind of allow creative to focus on something in a really streamlined way that maybe takes some of the uncertainty of how to book things. It's like, all right, Gunther's advancing, done. We know that. How are we going to make that interesting? So, I don't know. I personally, I like tournaments a lot. So, I don't necessarily consider it a waste of time, but could they have handled it differently, maybe better? Yeah, that's up for debate, of course.
I think that last bit is probably, I like the tournament. I like it a lot. I don't think it's a waste of time. I think, here's my thing. I really wish, and this is just a function of paying attention to the business aspect, the dirt sheets, whatever you want to call it. If it wasn't declared by the dirt sheets in advance, if everybody wasn't well aware that Gunther was going to win this thing, if the report was they're keeping it really close to the vest, then I would have no problem with the tournament as it is, with the exception of put out the brackets early. Like, I want to know, we love to sit here and have the brackets out and be like, oh, I wonder if this person, who's going to win this one, who's going to win this one. That is the kind of, I love the idea of a tournament. I think it's great. I'm looking at, let's see here. Okay. The matches that went down. So we had Solo Sikoa versus Dolph Ziggler, Javon Evans versus Gunther, Zack Ryder, and who's Zack? Oh, LA Knight. Jey Uso versus The Miz, Sheamus, Shinsuke Nakamura, Damian Priest, and Rusev. Was it Damian Priest and Rusev? Yeah. No,
Yeah.
wait. Yeah, and then Penta and Finn Balor's coming up. I do wish that there were more surprise wins. I wish there were more upsets.
Yeah.
I wish that there were... Well, let me put it this way also. I wish the brackets were constructed in a way... We talked about this the other day. I wish the brackets were constructed in a way where they would tell stories along the way. The Miz and Carmelo Hayes. Ooh, are they going to meet in the second round? Because they got a couple of first-round matchups.
Yeah.
Instead, it's been kind of the same thing. Like, Damian Priest is feuding with Aleister. Didn't Aleister Black get involved in his match with Rusev? I think. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Rusev just did the eye, which was the result of Aleister Black. Yeah. Which is a good story beat. You know, that's like something if you look at the brackets, if they had them, it's like, oh, well, this is an interesting matchup right here that could happen or maybe not because Aleister Black might spoil it.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just feel like they could have added to the intrigue by, number one, keeping the result. We've seen them keep surprises before. Mm-hmm. Keep the results close to the vest. Do your damnedest not to spoil that, oh, they're looking at Gunther. Because once we knew that, and yes, that's an argument to be made for not paying attention to dirt sheets. That's just where we're at. And a lot of people that watch this show or listen to this show, they do. They're interested in that kind of shit.
Yep.
If the intrigue was there, if it was like, hey, what if they have Javon Evans win tonight or this past Monday, you know, then okay, that's interesting. Then I go into that match thinking this could be a cool upset. They got the crowd with them. Oh, Gunther, it looks like Gunther's probably going to win this thing, but we don't know. So that's my wish. I love the idea of a tournament. I don't think it's a waste of time. This would have been horrible if it was simply now we're a month away. Gunther shows up. Hey, John Cena, I'm to challenge you. I don't want that. I don't need a month of them talking. No,
Cena wouldn't even be there. So,
and well, yeah, that's the thing. Cena wouldn't even be there. It'd be like Bray Wyatt and the Undertaker when Gunther's just sitting there talking to a T-shirt.
Yeah, doing this to some merch.
A merch set. Yeah, exactly.
Another thing that would have been cool is for the talent in storyline within WWE, like doing whatever they can to be a part of this. Mm-hmm. Outside of R-Truth trying to get his balls in the tumbler, which is played for laughs, has anybody really lobbied Aldis or Pierce significantly? I need to be in this. Like, where's Randy Orton said? Randy Orton stepped up. Is like, I had my shot against Cena earlier this year. I lost. Given our history, I need to be in this tournament. I need to be his final opponent.
They should have done qualifiers.
They should have.
Yeah.
Or had matches to improve your chances of getting into the tournament. Something like that.
That's good, yeah.
Like it should spread throughout both Raw and SmackDown. People like, I need to be in this tournament. Mm-hmm. I need to prove myself against the greatest of all time. Like, I know that at least The Miz is like, I have a history with Cena. I beat the main event of WrestleMania. Like, there shouldn't be any question. I should be his final opponent.
Yeah.
We should have, everybody should be trying to make their case why they should face Cena on December 13th. To add on to that, the idea that these balls were drawn at random, like in the storyline, why was Dolph Ziggler's name in there? I know. What's the mechanics behind two TNA wrestlers?
Yeah,
having balls in the tumbler.
Where does that to me? Yeah, how did they miraculously get? Why is it most of the matchups in the first round Raw versus SmackDown? There's too much like coincidence there.
They want us to believe this is done at random, yet it seems completely orchestrated. Yes,
it is so orchestrated, and yet given they don't release brackets, kind of feels like they didn't know what they were doing going into it at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, if they release brackets, say, all right, this is a seeded bracket. We're going to reseed in the second round. All right, cool. Maybe they're like, people don't care about that.
We have this Tumblr over here for people who are not contracted with WWE. Names across AAA, a TNA, Noah. Let us know.
Marufuji in this thing. That'd be cool.
Just let us know. Just say Noah. Yeah. Even if you don't put Noah, anybody from Noah in it, just tell us that they're in the thing. I don't care. Yeah. It's that kind of thing where it's like the extra attention to detail would be appreciated, even by a small subset of fans.
I know. I mean, if it's just a situation where everybody wants to be in it, all right. The roster considers this important.
Yeah.
Therefore, we as viewers would consider it important.
We consider it important, yeah. And that's really what I think WWE, and I think Vince really did not appreciate that. And Triple H appreciates it a little bit more. I would say a lot more than Vince, but sometimes not enough.
Next hot take here from Joe says Javon Evans should have beaten Gunther and become the underdog babyface of the tournament. The victory would have been this generation's version of Razor versus 1-2-3 Kid. It would showcase the future of the company, just like Cena wanted for his Saturday Night's main event special.
If it wasn't like, yeah, I agree with this. Put Javon and Gunther in the second round. You know, if Gunther's going to win, Gunther's going to win. But have Javon Evans beat
Bronson Reed.
Yeah, fucking anybody. I don't care who. The Miz, you know. I don't care who. Carmelo's got Bronson. Yeah, Carmelo. I don't know. Shinsuke.
I was thinking someone like Bronson or Sheamus. Sheamus is a good name.
Sheamus.
You know, you see Javon across the ring from his opponent, and it's like instantly, all right, Javon's the underdog.
Yeah,
know?
Right. Yeah.
Something like that. So yeah, Sheamus would work.
Is the type. He's been around so long. He might, as from a character standpoint, take him lightly. Oh, this guy is wiry, so I'm gonna take that. Not my words. Joe Tessitore's words.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take him lightly, and then he gets surprised and shocked. The crowd would fucking explode.
I mean, honestly, the final should be Gunther versus Javon. That should have been the finals.
Yeah. I'd be down with that.
It should have been the finals.
I mean, that's the thing that we've been saying. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe this proves out Metal Pulse's hot take, saying I think the whole thing was a waste of time. Maybe he means not the idea of it, but the way they've executed it, and it being such a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
Even though I still maintain if the dirt sheets hadn't broken that, we'd still maybe be thinking, well, there's a chance it won't be Gunther. You know, but sort of knowing the outcome has been.
You see the field and you see Gunther's in it. You're like, all right, Gunther's going to win this.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
But then they could use that to build up expectations. Give us something different. So if there's a huge upset that happens, oh shit, didn't expect that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Old Dirty Q here with the hot take says nobody wanted to see John Cena face Zack Ryder or Dolph Ziggler for his final match. We just love that nostalgic pop. Yeah, I don't think anybody wanted Zack or Dolph to advance all the way to face Cena in Saturday Night's main event. But it might have been cool to see one of them advance past the first round.
It would have been kind of cool if they could have booked a tournament where every single name is somebody that people would love to see face John Cena.
Yeah.
And I mean a mass of people, not just like, Dolph Ziggler's family or Zack Ryder's family, like Chelsea Green, she wants to see him face
But like,
John Cena.
Imagine what they could have done. I understand saving Zack Ryder as a surprise entrant, Matt Cardona. But given Zack Ryder's history with John Cena, like, the motivation's there for him to want to be in this tournament and just wreck people to get to John Cena. You know? Like, play that up.
Yeah.
Play that up.
They could have got some footage from GCW. These are the lengths that Matt Cardona will go to.
Yes. And have him actually, tease that kind of stuff during the match.
Are we just completely proving Metal Pulse's hot take
so.
here completely right? This was just
See, there's a difference between a waste of time and just, not booked terribly well.
Well, that's the thing, dude. Yeah, I agree. Here's the thing, though, is like you and I earlier, we had a bit of a debate over my assertion that, hey, over a long stretch of time, this shit ain't easy, and that's why it's not always compelling, right? We want our Altman-esque ensemble every single week.
Dude, I'm not even asking for Altman-esque ensemble.
Hold on. The thing they can do is this shit. This is where you can make up for the lack of an Altman-esque ensemble, 52 weeks a year, 104 episodes a year. This is where you can make up for that.
Yeah.
Because this is the stuff where you can get the details right.
Yep. Yeah, I don't disagree.
Before we continue on, because Scrufflenuff here has a hot take in just a second, I want to remind you guys, hey, this weekend we pick back up the Predictions Challenge in November with full gear. And the way you get in on the Predictions Challenge, go to patreon.com/Steve and Larson. Click on the Friendo Club setup there. We have a variety of reward tiers, including, a lot of people might not know this, we have a Steve and Larson comic book at the $20 tier. At some point, you probably should freshen up those tiers because it's been a while. It's been sitting at $20 for a long time.
Yeah, for 9 years.
Yeah. But for right now, for the rest of 2025, that $20 tier will remain a $20 tier. You get the comic book, a signed 8x10 of us from 2019, some stickers.
You could make the point now that the $20 tier now is a substantial bargain over it was in 2016.
It really is. It's a massive bargain. We also offer that same tier over at the channel memberships. If you click join right here, youtube.com/Steven Larson, basically the same thing as what you get with the Patreon tier as well. Whether you do it on Patreon or YouTube, you get the same stuff. Access to the bonus episodes, access to the Predictions Challenge, and the question threads for our recap episodes. So it's a great way to help support Going in Raw, the Friendo Club. So you can join the Friendo Club today by going to patreon.com/Steven Larson or by clicking join.
Yep. All right. Scrufflenuff said Cena should get demolished and tap out to Gunther, have his last match end with him giving up for the first time in like 23 years.
I hate it. I don't know that Cena's going to lose that last match, by the way.
Yeah, it's not a given, especially he loses that Intercontinental title beforehand.
Yeah. And we risk, if Cena loses to Gunther, Austria might face some really harsh tariffs. Just saying. If U.S. leaders in attendance, not the smartest guy in the world, might think it's real, Larson.
I mean, there's a story that when Vince's limo blew up that U.S. leader actually called WWE headquarters to see if Vince was all right. So
yeah, I like that he saw a car blow up and he's like, "Is that guy okay?"
Yeah. Gosh. I guess if they want to make this like something significant for Gunther, he could tap out Cena and say, "Oh, I'm the only person to ever make John Cena tap out."
So like in the end, I would not mind if Cena tapped out if he's gonna lose. Because that is significant for Gunther. Although I still think Gunther doesn't need all this shit. But I think Cena's going to win. I think there's a possibility. I don't think he's going to win. I think there's a possibility that.
Well, of course, there's always a possibility.
But if he does lose, I guess I wouldn't mind that for Gunther. I'd power rank what you would prefer to see. Cena get pinned, Cena tap out, Cena pass out.
I mean, my preferred way of him losing to Gunther is a flurry of, 150 chops. So Cena's chest is just pure hamburger.
Does the chest cavity open up?
Yeah, virtually, yes.
Yeah.
And then Gunther pins him after just 20 minutes of nothing but chops.
What if he chops like his like midsection or like his stomach?
Yeah.
And it opens up and his guts spill out.
It must be that graphic, I suppose.
You've seen Catch-22, the movie, right?
Yeah.
How like the final traumatic scene is is it Alan Alda? I always get Alan Alda.
Alan Arkin.
Alan Arkin. I always get those two confused. Alan Arkin. And he's up there and he's there with like the Bombardier or whoever.
I'm the Bombardier. I'm all right.
The guy's guts spill out everywhere. That's what it would look like. That's a brutal scene.
It is.
That is it's so out of nowhere. It's like, oh my God, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The movie is such an absurdist thing to begin with, and then that happens, and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
It throws you for a loop.
I love when a director, because that was, what's his face?
Mike Nichols, wasn't it?
Mike Nichols, who's coming off The Graduate when he did that. So, of course, it's like Oscar, probably winning, nominated, whatever. It's like, oh, this is the movie of the generation. So he goes off and does that batshit crazy shit with
sort of like
Catch-22.
when the Coens, after Fargo, did Big Lebowski.
Yeah, right, yeah. Let's do some crazy
like,
ass
to a
shit.
certain degree, a middle finger to Hollywood and whatnot. A huge Oscar-winning movie with Fargo. Oh, we're going to go make this really weird movie that is almost in some respects like an anti-movie because it's almost basically has no plot. No, I mean, yeah, in the end, if Gunther makes Cena tap out, it's it could be construed, booked as something huge for Gunther. But again, what do they do afterwards? If it's simply a situation like Solo hit Cena with what, 12 spikes, and then went on to lose to LA Knight 42 times in a row. Like there was nothing afterwards.
Yeah. That's sort of my thing with Gunther, though, is like, unless this elevates him to Night 2 Mania main event guy, which I would love for that to be the case. I really would, because number one, I don't know how old he is, but he's not as old as the current crop
He's
of
in his
Mania.
mid-30s, I think.
Yeah, he's probably younger than Cody, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Although he's been wrestling forever.
He has been, but all those Europeans, and like, the luchadors also, they all wrestle from like the age of 11.
Gunther's 38.
He's 38. Okay. Is Cody's like what, 41 by now?
Let's see.
40. He's 40. Okay. So they're like on par. That's like a normal main event age. Like once you're past like 45, I don't know if you should be main eventing,
Well, not consistently.
Go to be in the New Japan Rambo. That's where they put their 45 and older crop.
Yeah.
In the Rambo.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can address this next hot take, continue on this conversation. I believe this is from Connor. Says, Gunther needs to retire Cena. He's not sniffing that world title anytime soon. He needs something that could send him to the upper echelon with guys like Cody, Punk, Roman, etc.
He won't get to that upper echelon without the WWE Championship.
The one Cody has.
The one Cody has. He already had the Punk one, and it landed him in the night 1 opener at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
He doesn't need that. A win against Cena does nothing unless he gets the WWE Championship.
It's not too late for Cena to beat Cody again, and then the match on December 13th to be for the WWE Championship.
Contractually, it is too late. The 2 last appearances.
That's true. He only has 2.
Done.
What if Cody just gives it to him?
That is not impressive. For
Out of
John
respect
Cena.
for you, John. The final days of your career. I bequeath to you.
At War Games, after the Dominic Mysterio thing, he comes down. Here, John.
It's like, you lost your Intercontinental title. You can have my title.
I will take that from you, John Cena.
And there we
After
go.
spilling your guts.
Problem solved.
Like the movie Catch-22.
Patch Cheeseman here says, Fat Walter is better than Lean Gunther.
Hard disagree. I love Fat Walter, don't get me wrong. But when you see how healthier Lean Gunther looks, it just makes me feel better. I'm like,
I understand that.
Yeah.
I get that. The his presentation as Walter, the name and everything, you think, all right, like there's a dude named Walter. Just kind of this pedestrian name. How badass is he going to be? And you see him in the ring and he's beating the hell out of people.
Yeah.
And that kind of juxtaposition I thought was pretty neat. And to a certain degree, some of that is lost now that he's lost that much weight and he's Lean Gunther now. But you're right. Long term, Lean Gunther is the best for Walter.
Yeah.
Probably. So
yeah, I don't need the chunk, dude. I don't need that. When I saw him get lean, I'm like, holy shit, look at this guy. Yeah. Yeah.
Unseen Killer here says Roman Reigns is the most overrated wrestler of the last 10 years.
Last 10 years, going back to 2015. I don't know. I mean, dude, I don't know, like, in terms of how people are rated, like, what to consider, but I feel like it's Brock. I feel like Brock is the most overrated wrestler because he's done the exact same thing. There's been no change. I think during the Best of the Bloodline, you saw the performance from Roman Reigns, and he was putting on a lot of good matches. They all kind of followed a similar template because it was all Michael Hayes, booking the finishes and everything, I think. But in terms of the character work, what his presence brought to that story, even when in his absence, he had that gravitas. I don't think that he's overrated. I think the dude knows how to put on good matches. He knows how to put on good matches despite an epically bad moveset.
Yeah, his moveset's not that good.
I fucking hate the moves that he does. I don't like any of them. And yet he puts on good matches.
So I'll say this. Roman Reigns is an absolutely fantastic performer.
Yeah.
all-around performer.
Yeah.
His wrestling abilities, at least as portrayed in the ring, is probably his, I'm not going to say worst skill, but if you look at promo, presence, presentation, and his wrestling ability, I would rate all the other ones above his wrestling ability. And that's not to say he gets by exclusively on presence, charisma, so on and so forth at this point. He's a great storyteller. He is.
I think he's a really good storyteller.
But in terms of, as you said, the actual moves,
Yeah.
his matches are pretty plodding. They're deliberately paced, and that's a nice way of saying slow.
Yeah, but in the end, they're usually pretty good.
Yeah, but you have to get through the first 25 minutes of it, which sometimes
Yeah, but that second 25.
are a bit on the boring side. So I'm not going to say he's the most overrated wrestler, but it depends. In this instance, what are you talking about in terms of wrestler? You're talking strictly in-ring? I mean, he's a good wrestler, but compared to all his other skills, which a lot of them are off the charts, his wrestling is kind of pedestrian.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ronan the analyst here says AEW is an adult product priced for families. WWE is a family product priced for adults.
Can you have families without adults in them? I'm joking. I know what he's saying here.
Yeah.
It's an adult product price for families.
I think it's because AEW has a lot of blood and their tickets are cheaper. Whereas,
Yeah. No, I understand. I understand the point here. I'm trying to find a conversation starter for this one here. I mean, if you listen to the TKO guys, the WWE's ticket prices are just fair market value.
I mean, I guess that bears out because they're selling out a lot of shows.
Bro, they show. I honestly, I hate to put on my capitalism hat guy, but like otherwise, what are you going to do? Cheap prices with a lottery system, hand it all over to the secondary market so they can drive the prices up because the demand is there. So, I mean, I get it. I hate it. I hate that the prices are going up. But here's where I do definitely take issue. I fucking hate the idea that they would rather leave empty seats and keep the prices high. That's horrible. That is awful.
Yeah.
Like, no, lower your ticket prices so you can fill the seats.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's where I take the biggest issue.
You know, if they've done their calculations and decided that selling a seat for $500 and run the risk of having 2, 3, 4, 5,000 empty seats is financially beneficial to lowering the prices to like $300 or $250. Yeah, that's lame.
I think that I understand. Like if it's different, we're not a $1 billion corporation. Yeah, dude, I don't know. It's honestly, it's like. It's like us, you know, we actively tell people, like, you know, for example, I mentioned this earlier. We have channel memberships. We have Patreon. We don't say, hey, we got channel memberships and you can get stuff there that you can't get on the Patreon and stuff on the Patreon you can't get on member. No. It's the exact same thing. Yep. We have two different things to offer. Or I'm sorry, we have the same thing to offer
for you, yes,
in two different ways to make it convenient for you. We're not trying to gouge you guys.
No.
And I know this is all apples and oranges, but it's like you have the seats available. You should be offering those seats, you know, and if that drives the ticket price down, then fine. But yeah, I don't get that.
You know, in an ideal world, and there's no way to make this happen, but given how Ticketmaster is such a shit show, it would be great if they had like literally a dedicated family seating area. Ticket prices are lower, you know, and again, the mechanics of Ticketmaster, I don't know how they would be able to sell those to make sure people who are actually buying those tickets are people with families. Or hey, if you not even that, I don't know. There's ideally there'd be a way that
going to game the system.
I know exactly, and that's the problem with Ticketmaster. It's such a mess. Because it is a shame that, you know, people who have families, like a family of 4, is going to cost them a mortgage payment to take their family to a WWE event, and that shouldn't be the case. Shouldn't be the case.
I agree. But that, I mean, you do see that at, in a sliding scale, I guess, just be across the board. Just prices are outrageous.
Oh, I know, especially for live events.
Days.
Like I can't imagine if you're a family try to go to like a Taylor Swift concert.
Anything.
You're probably dropping $4,000 on that.
Mm-hmm.
Kadeem Jones has a hot take, says Bayley has been the most mistreated superstar in WWE in 2025. They teased a feud between her and Roxanne that didn't have a payoff. They removed her from WrestleMania. She didn't have a match on SummerSlam. She might miss Survivor Series, another major PLE. And she's stuck with this new gimmick that I feel isn't going anywhere.
Oh, I don't know. I kind of feel like, okay, the most mistreated superstar in WWE. She was given a big angle for her character to work with, for the performer to work with those vignettes where she was doing the, multiple personality thing. So the performer has something to grab onto. That can't be said of a lot of people. I think, dude, I don't see how anybody could say she's most mistreated when you have Damian Priest there.
You can make the case that she was mistreated more so when she was champion.
I agree.
They did basically nothing interesting with her character then.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, for a number of years, it's not like Bayley's been given the best to work with, and we'll see how this kind of, split personality thing goes. But, at least it's been given TV time.
Yeah, she's in a thing with Lyra. They've got good chemistry. They put on good matches. Is she Rhea Ripley or Asuka these days? No, but, Asuka came back after a long time being off. And she's Asuka. She can do no wrong. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like she's involved. And I think in some cases that's something that you can't really complain about too much.
Well, there's a lot of people that aren't involved nearly to that degree.
I mean, Damian Priest is just out there on his own. Just lost in a never-ending feud with Aleister Black, who meanwhile is doing other things while feuding with Damian Priest.
Publicly proclaiming he wants to do other things and is done feuding with Damian Priest. Yes. Yeah. Andre Hawley here with the hot take says WWE should bring back brand-exclusive PLEs for the B-level PLEs so both brands will have more time to properly build angles. If SmackDown could ever book even just a modestly entertaining 3-hour show,
Jesus.
Then maybe have that conversation. But until then, hard pass on this.
If SmackDown and Raw were their own compelling shows with no crossover, with their own strong champions, then yeah, and they did that on a consistent basis, you're 1,000% right. Then you can have that conversation. But until that happens, hard no. SmackDown and Raw can't exist without each other right now, according to WWE.
Yep. Connor Stenquist with a hot take says, Collision's better than SmackDown. Steve, you're the resident Collision cowboy here. Care to confirm?
Well, let me ask you this question. Which of these shows is Clone on?
Well, neither. Oh, Clone? Yeah, sorry. I thought hologram for a second. Collision.
Right.
I didn't turn the H to make it a C.
Case closed, Larson. Wait, which
All
one?
right, there we go.
This is a C right here.
Yeah.
Case closed. El Clone. Callis family always featured on Collision. Okada matches happen on Collision. Oh, man. Us Collision Cowboys eating good on Saturdays.
Eating good. I have been noticing a lot more recently. I'm watching Dynamite, and I'm like, what the hell is this? When did this happen? It was on Collision.
Yeah, dude. They're still they are so terrible about kind of advertising Collision as a proper, 1B to Dynamite's 1A. But they got some good shit on Collision, man.
Cameron Bort here with the hot takes is mostly for Steve. Once James Gunn introduces his new Batman to the DCU, they will surpass all non-Avenger Marvel movies.
Non-Avenger Marvel movies? That's a huge caveat right there.
Yeah.
That's a low bar. What are we talking about? Like fucking Craven? Madam Web?
Did you ever watch that one?
No, but I saw this still the other day from that movie. It's a long story. But I was like, it was one of those things where I was like, what is this train wreck? And I went and I found the scene in that movie that this still came from. It was like a forest dweller type guy who had a vaguely Spider-Man looking outfit on. Like they had like painted red skin and some like vines that looked like that were sort of in the pattern of Spider-Man. The idea, I think, being that the spider that bit Peter Parker somehow inspired his imagination to mimic this. And I was like, what is this? So I watched it, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wow.
I've seen much worse. I'm sorry. I've never seen anything worse than this,
All right.
including like, horrible videos on Live Leak. Those were better than this.
Wow.
I'm joking. But yeah, no. So this was my assessment of Superman. Is I liked it well enough, but I think what it says to me is I'm really looking forward to whatever else they're going to do. Superman wasn't all that compelling, but I really love the universe that they set up because it sort of is like my jam with what I grew up with.
Yeah.
And I am kind of curious how comic booky he's going to go with the Batman character, because you can't do like a Pattinson type thing. You kind of have to go. It'd be more in line with like kind of Ben Affleck's.
Oh, Ben Affleck.
What did you just say? Adam
West.
Ideally, man, they had that. There was this on Threads the other day. Somebody did the slideshow of Adam West in the Batman outfit, right?
Yeah.
But then they, I don't know, used AI or Photoshop or whatever to give him like different color variations of that suit, including the wacky ones from like the 60s where it's like a pink Batman, a blue Batman, a green Batman.
Yeah.
And I was like, they should have done it. Every episode of that Adam West show should have been a different color Batman suit.
Yeah, that'd been cool. Yeah. Like I watched the Superman movie, and it was a movie that I appreciated thematically. Like I like what the movie was about.
Sure, yeah.
But I didn't really enjoy it from an entertainment standpoint.
There's just, dude, it's just as much as I think James Gunn thinks he's getting away from a standard superhero thing, there's only so many things you can do.
Yeah.
It's talk about those long Roman Reign matches. Every fucking superhero movie now has the same climactic fight scene. Every single one. Every single one.
Yeah, I guess tiring.
I thought that the most interesting stuff is always with James Gunn, the character stuff. It's amusing. It's good. Have you saw Peacemaker season 1, right?
I haven't watched it. I've seen exactly one episode of Peacemaker.
I've heard season 2 is really good because that's set in the current DCU.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that I'm really kind of interested in, like the Guy Gardner character, right? I thought he was the standout because that's the Guy Gardner I know from the comic books, and I know probably where they're going to go with that. And that's the kind of shit that I want to see adapted. Mm-hmm. So I think once they get around to that, the Batman thing's going to be interesting, though.
Yeah.
Are they going to have him be blue and gray? That's fucking wild if true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Last one here. Ozzy says we need Steve versus Larson Wrestling Jeopardy.
Oh, man. I've been loving the Wrestling Jeopardy series over at the Wrestle Juice channel. Having a good time with that. Yeah, at some point, we'll get together. We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But it's like having to beep in, trying to figure that out.
Yeah, the mechanics of the beeper. That's like the major thing when you try out. You have to get the mechanics of that.
Because you tried out for Rock and Roll Jeopardy.
Rock and Roll Jeopardy twice, yeah.
And did you got your hand on a clicker?
I'm trying to remember if they... I think so.
Did you do like a trial thing?
So there's a test. You take it first. Mm-hmm. And if you pass the test, then you move on to, they get 3 people and they ask you like 3 questions. And I think there was a clicker involved because you had to respond somehow.
Yeah, right.
And getting the timing of that down. So.
Yeah, because how often you watch Jeopardy and you see some idiot like, meanwhile everybody else is answering, is because you have to wait until the question is done and then wait like, I guess, a quarter of a beat or something. And then
you have to get the timing right, yeah.
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 Just sit there jamming the fucking thumb.
I know, you can't be just doing that on it.
Yeah.
Remember, one of the questions was, what was the name of the Beatles' original drummer? I was like, I fucking know this. Come on.
Oh, yeah, Pete Best.
Pete Best.
Yeah. Was it Pete Best? Yeah. Yeah, and they got rid of him because he was too good looking. It's true.
Yeah, I believe it.
He was a good looking dude.
Yeah.
He's super. Yeah, oh, my God. Yeah, Pete Best. Yeah, great looking guy. This was the final. So this is what I do. I do every week. It's a really fun YouTube video series, Wrestling Jeopardy. And every week, Final Jeopardy, I always risk everything.
Of course.
Right. So this was the question yesterday.
All right.
Which of the fabulous Freebirds became a commercial airline pilot?
I don't think it was Hayes. I don't think it was.
That'd be amazing if it was Hayes.
It would. I don't think it's Gordy. Commercial airline pilot?
Not just a dude who had a license, a commercial airline pilot.
Well, it's either Buddy Rich or Jimmy Garvin.
Buddy Roberts was also an option.
Sorry, Buddy Roberts. I'd probably say Jimmy Garvin.
You'd be right. Doesn't he look like an airline pilot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that one wrong. I said, like, at the outset, I was like, oh, man, it's got to be Jimmy Garvin. He looks like one. But then I was like, didn't he wrestle, like, later? Like, I don't remember. I thought I knew enough about him that I would have known at some point. And so I didn't know shit about Buddy Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Buddy Roberts. And so I put that. But no, it's Jimmy Garvin.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, one day we'll figure it out. I don't know if you'd have to come over here. We do it on Discord. I don't know. See, that's where it comes into a problem.
Yeah, the mechanics of it are the problem, not necessarily doing it.
It's like we do it, and then on top of that, it gets like 6,000 views over at Friendo Club.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, was that really worth it?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, one day, maybe. We'll figure it out.
Do a full half hour we can put it over here at the podcast channel.
See, but then it's just wrestling. It'd still do 6,000.
Shoot fake commercials to fill in the commercial breaks.
Boy, somebody's ambitious today.
Ideas out there.
Hey, look, man, if you want to go shoot some guerrilla-style commercials at Del Taco, I'm down.
There we go. They're all Friendo merch commercials, though.
Oh, shit. I thought we were going to shoot a Del Taco
we're shooting commercials for so
Whenever
we
I
sell
feel
stuff.
like a great taste in merchandise, I go back to Friendo merch again. Or Friendo shop again. I think it's Friendo shop.
Friendo shop is the stuff. I just can't get enough.
So I'm back at Friendo shop again.
Friendo shop.
Use Friendo code 2024. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. By the way, you all get Fs because nobody dropped a grunge hot take. Therefore, everybody's doing laps. Well, not us.
Oh, good.
Yeah, not you. We're good.
I had a leg day yesterday. My legs are tired.
Well, there you go then. You're good to go. We'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.